Hey guys, so today is going to be my October wrap-up. I have a huge stack of books right here, and I just read a lot this month, which I'm super proud of myself for doing. And I also have some books that I read on ebook and audio, so let's get right into it.
About to leave, already packing.
Okay, so I'm back. I put all the books down. So the first book I read this month was incredible. I loved it, and that's An Evening at Crystal Lake by Rachel J. Thompson. This book was fantastic. It's a short novella, kind of like a fanfic of Friday the 13th, like Jason from Friday the 13th. So this couple is like a photographer couple, and they wanted to do this photo shoot of taking photos of like famous kind of like serial killers in movies and stuff. And so the first one that they did was Jason, and he was in his full getup, and at first I thought this was going to be like the real one, but it felt very real. And so the heroine gets with Jason, and it's so good. And then like her husband like takes photos of it, and it was so steamy, so good, really spooky. He was in his whole like get up, and he felt like the real Jason even though he wasn't, and I really enjoyed it. It was so good, great for spooky season, but also just a great quick read. Literally finished it in like 20 minutes. The next book I read was Lessons in Corruption by Jana Darling. I actually listened to this on audio because the first 3 books came out on audio. I love this series so much. So this is a teacher-student romance, and also an age gap. And so our heroine, she's been stuck in this marriage for like 8 years, and she was kind of groomed into this marriage from her parents, and she ended up marrying like her next door older neighbor. And so she tries to spice up their marriage, and it doesn't work out. So then she decides to get a divorce. But that same day, she saw this man across the parking lot at a grocery store, and was like, that's the most beautiful man I've ever seen. And so that ends up being our hero. And so she sees him again 3 months later when she's getting her divorce, and they go on a date. And then the next day, when she goes into school, she sees him in her classroom. And so it's so good. He wants her so much, but she also really wants him too, and he is so mature for his age. And I just really enjoyed this one. I love the forbiddenness. I love King. He is such a romantic, poetic man, and some action stuff happens, and he really takes care of her because she doesn't have a lot of money from her marriage because she wasn't really in control of her finances. And I just really enjoyed this book so much. I loved reading it a second time. It just solidified my feelings for this series and these characters. Love. The next book I read was The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I kind of wanted just to branch out with my reading, and so this book is about our main character. He is Native American, and he has kind of been stuck in this cycle that lots of Native Americans have been stuck in this cycle from the United States and the government and the history that's put them there. And so it was very interesting to see his point of view and how poor his tribe was, and what he saw others go through with alcoholism, suicide, violence, and just it was really crazy to me to realize how much alcoholism impacted Native American lives, and I really saw that in this book. And so our main character, he is going to a white school across town, and he's kind of seen as the outsider and not seen as somebody who can be let in, but then he's slowly let in. And then in his tribe, people in his tribe don't like him anymore, thinking that he is becoming he's like trying to get away from his heritage. And it was just so sad and heartbreaking to see what he went through, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very eye-opening, and I feel like everybody should give it a go. I think it's more middle grade slash high school reading level, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a very important book to read. And but the author is a little shady, that I know from I don't know what shadiness he's done, but he's done some shady things. But this is actually based on kind of his story, inspired by his story, and I just really enjoyed it, so highly, highly recommend. The next book I read this month was Lover and Shrine by J.R. Ward. I was actually reading this for the Paranormal Romance Readathon, and fixing my light because I got wonky. I was reading this for the Paranormal Romance Readathon, and I really enjoyed it. I give it 5 stars. I have a reading vlog on this one. Oh wait, no I don't. Sorry. I don't have a reading. I started one and then I stopped it. I don't know why. I can't really remember. But anyways, so this one, our hero, he has been chosen to be the primal of the vampire world, which basically means he has to get with all these women and impregnate them for like the vampire race. And so his first like mate is our heroine, and so like the first couple months that they're supposed to be like together, they don't see each other at all. He still kind of has feelings for his twin brother's like wife, so he kind of still has feelings for her, and but he really doesn't. He just feels like he thinks he does. And so I felt like the last couple books in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, they have been really focused on the action, which I do like, but I feel like the romance hasn't been there for me. But I still really enjoyed it. Like, I love these characters so much, and I gave this one 5 stars. But I want something like Butch and like Zadist and those characters. I feel like it's kind of been, a lot of the relationships have been like, oh, they don't want to be together, so they're kind of forced to be together kind of thing. But I'm really excited to continue on with this series. I am so excited for the next book, which is, I think, Revenge. He's one of my favorite characters in the series, and I'm excited to see who he's going to end up with, because he has a lot of trauma from his past, and he kind of has a secret like of the type of like creature he is, and then he can't really tell anyone, and he has like tendencies that he goes through. So I really enjoyed this one, but I do want some more romantic development with the relationships, so I feel like that's a little bit lacking so far, but I still really love these books. The next book I read, I listened to on audio, and that's Welcome to the Dark Side by Jenna Darling. I love this series, and I was just reading through listening to the new audiobooks, and I got the special edition of this one. I've shown it off in a couple videos, but I just love it so much. I think it's gorgeous. And so if you don't know, I actually started with this book in the Fallen Men series, and then I kind of went to the third one and then the first one. And so this one is about Zeus and Lulu, and so when Lulu is 5 years old, at her church, gunshots ring out, and she is saved by Zeus, and he's kind of like put in jail, and she's the daughter of the mayor, and she's like not allowed to see Zeus, but she really feels an attachment to him. And so over the years of her formative years till she's, I think, like 17, she writes to him in jail, and when he gets out of jail, she keeps writing to him, and he writes to her, and it's so cute. There's nothing like creepy, and oh sorry, this is an age gap also, and motorcycle romance. And so he's the president of the Fallen Men MC, and so when she sees him again, he really doesn't want to be anything with her, because he still cares for her, but he doesn't, he thinks that like what she feels for him is just like a silly crush, but she really, really loves him, and it's not like insta-lovey, but she has this like longing and like adoration for him. And so then she kind of has like 2 lives, because she also has cancer, and so on the side she's working at a strip club and trying to get closer to him, but also trying to live the life she wants to, because her father's the mayor. He's very strict with her about what she can do, and she's kind of like the socialitist. But I'm explaining this really bad in this video. I don't know why, but this book is so good. I love the relationship so much. He is so overprotective of her and really does what's right for her, and I love that about his character. Zeus is one of my favorites in the Fallen series, and this is such a great series and great book, and I love this couple so much, and Zeus and Lou are just an amazing power couple. So definitely go check this series out if you haven't, because it's incredible and I love it so much. Next book that I read this month was The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I read this because I've heard it's a modern classic and I wanted to read some more modern classic books, and I ended up not really liking it. I heard that when you read this book, you need to read it like a couple times to really understand what's going on. I only read it the one time, and I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I didn't really get the point of it. It was kind of boring. I felt like there were like hidden things in it that you're supposed to figure out, but I guess I didn't, and I didn't really like it, so I gave that one 3 stars. And then the next book I read this month was These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. I'll put it right here. And this is like a fae fantasy love triangle YA romance. And so when I first heard about this book, I heard that it is like a reenactment of ACOTAR, and it's super good and amazing and all these great things. And I was so excited. I instantly bought it. And then when I read it, I just liked it more after I read it. When I was reading it, I was like, this is okay. I was liking it, and I finished it in like a day, but it was fine. And so basically the premise of the story is that our main character, she has like, her sister gets kidnapped, and so she has to go to this like night court thing to see this king and make a deal with him to get her sister back. And so the deal she makes with him is to make the like rival kingdom's like prince fall in love with her. And so that's what she plans to do. And it reminded me, it was a total retelling of like The Selection by Kira Cass, and I was just like, really? That book was fine, but like I really didn't like that aspect of this book. It was super boring. And I just felt it was really repetitive. So the love triangle aspect was that, like the nephew of the like king that like kidnapped her sister was also trying to help her on the side because he was trying to get like something on his own. That was the love triangle aspect of it, and so she would like train with him and stuff. And it was fine, and she had like secret powers or something, but I was just like, meh. I expected more. I had really high expectations. I didn't expect it to be exactly like ACOTAR. I just expected it to maybe have some vibes, or to be like have fae in it, to be its own thing, but it really wasn't, and so I really disliked it and gave it 3 stars. So the next book I read this month was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I wanted to do a reread of this one because I just love this book so much, and I did. It was incredible. That's all I'm gonna say, because I feel like everybody knows what this series is about, and I just it was so good. And even though I read it this year, I was like, I have to go back and read it again, because I just was like, I love it so much. So I did a reread of this one, and I love Reese and Farrah so much, and there are some limited edition covers of this series on Etsy, and so I really want to get those for Christmas. It's like $70, but they're absolutely beautiful, and I've been searching for some for so long, so I'm really excited. Okay, so the next book I read this month was The Bratva's Heir by Jane Henry and Sophie Lark, and I absolutely love this book. And I got this I received this as an ARC from Social Butterfly PR, sorry. And it was incredible. I read it in like 2 days. It was so good. So this is a Bratva / mafia, like prison psychiatrist romance. And so our heroine is a psychiatrist, and her father is this like big and uppity like lawyer, like really important lawyer guy. I think he's like the DA attorney. I think so. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, her first patient is this like Bratva manly like dude who supposedly killed his fiance, and so that is our hero. And she is like the daughter of the DA, right? And so the DA was the one that put him in jail, and so he figures out that she is his daughter and thinks that she's in on with her father trying to get intel on him or something like that, but she's actually not. It was like by complete like accident that he was her first patient, and so he makes a run to escape prison and kidnaps her with him. And so they go on this crazy goose chase around the city, and he brings her along with him, and it's so good. Their chemistry was off the charts, amazing, so like passionate, and like the tension between these two was incredible. It's one of my favorite reads now, seriously. I loved it so much, and just their relationship is so good, and I loved how they had to like go around town and like find clues of who actually killed his fiance. That was really good, and I love that part of the book. So the next book I read this month was A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I actually did a reading vlog of this book, so I'll link it down below, but all I'm going to say is that it was really good and felt very similar to From Belinda Nash. So that's all I'm going to say. If you want to hear more thoughts, I did give this 5 stars, but if you want to hear more of my thoughts, check out the video down below. Okay, so the next book I read this month was a new release, and that is There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. This is a killer, kind of like psycho killer artist romance, and so both of our main characters are artists, and our hero is a serial killer, and so he kind of uses like the body parts of the people that he kills in his art, which I found really interesting. And so our heroine, she is this up-and-coming artist, and he sees her and instantly gets kind of infatuated with her, but this other man sees her, and that's his rival, and he's also a serial killer. And so he kind of kidnaps her, the rival, and like tries to kill her and stuff, but and then like leaves her out in this alley thing so that the hero can like have his way with her, but he doesn't, and just like leaves her there basically. And so then flash forward, and he sees her again, and then like something clicks, and he like starts becoming obsessed with her and starts stalking her and trying to pursue a relationship with her on the side. I felt like You a little bit, the TV show and the book. I haven't read the book of You, but I've watched the TV show and I love it. And this was so good. They were very hate to love. Like, she recognized him from the alley, and he kind of is just like, you know, I'm going to do whatever I want with you, but she really pushes him, and I really like that. And then he kind of realizes he sometimes pushed her too far, and she kind of told him that, and he kind of grasped that, and he like knows that he doesn't have any emotion, but he feels emotion towards her. And so this is a duology, and so the second book is coming out December 1st, and I'm so excited to read it. I have been reading lots of Sophie Lark this month. I'm really enjoying her books. She is an incredible writer, and I feel like I can read her books very quickly. Like, her writing is just so easy for me to read, which I really like about her as an author, and I'm trying to savor her books because I'm loving them so much. So definitely go check this one out. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and I think it's free I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I definitely know it's on Kindle Unlimited, and it is so good. Okay, so the next book I read was The Dare by Harley Leroy, and I gave this one 3 stars. I'll get into it in a second. So I wanted to read this for like Halloween time, and so this book is based, it takes place on Halloween night, and so it's this, our main character was like the popular girl in high school, and she's back in town, around her like high school friends on Halloween night at this Halloween party, and she sees this guy that was kind of like the loser in high school, and now he's like really hot, and like he's the hero, and he has always been kind of weird and off and like kind of creepy, and so she bullied him, but she also had like a random like makeout sesh with him in like a bathroom at school or something. I don't know. But they see each other again, and they play this like game of dare, and she basically becomes his like sex slave for the night. And I liked it, but I also didn't. Like, it felt very repetitive of things that have already happened before in other books that I've read. And I really just don't like that character, like the mean girl, like finally gets with like the like nerdy or weird kid. And I mean, that happens in kind of in Punk 57, but Penelope did it in a way that I just loved it so much. But like, I just couldn't vibe with the main character, and she just made so many like decisions that I just didn't like, and I just really did not like her, and so that kind of ruined it for me. But I definitely want to read the other book by Harley Leroy. Gosh, I can't remember what it is. I'll put it up on the screen, but it's like a demon slayer romance. I think it's like a demon slayer and a demon. I can't remember correctly, but I've heard that one's really, really good. And then the next book I read this month was Addicted for Now by Kristen Becker Ritchie. I love the Calloway sisters and Addicted series so freaking much. I gave this 5 stars, obviously. Y'all, if you are not onto this series, that you need to be, because these characters are incredible. Like, each book just gets better and better. I personally love Rose and Connor, I think, the most. If I had to pick one of the guys, it would be Reich. I love Reich so much. But this one is just a continuation of Lily and Lo, and it's a lot about, I can't really remember correctly because I've read like the next 3 books in the series this past month, but I think it's about, so it's after Lo comes back from rehab, and so Lily is still trying to deal with like her sex addiction, and he is trying to help her with that, and so some things happen, and somebody is trying to release a secret to the world that she's a sex addict. So that's what goes down in this book, and the series is incredible. The first book is called Addicted to You, and so like the series intertwine, but I think you could definitely read like Kiss the Sky first and go back to Lily and Lo if you don't want to like read the whole series, but I did, and so I'm like a weirdo, like I like doing that. But so the whole addicted thing is that Lily and Lo, they could hide their addictions from their parents, and so then they start kind of having a relationship, and it's so great. I'm going to talk about the other sisters in a minute because I have those on my list, but I love this series so much. So the next book I read was Feed by Avita Weiss, and this is a like succulent monster romance, and I gave this one 3 stars because it was very steamy, but I was really confused because they used like 2 different pronouns, I think, for like the guy, or maybe it was like the guy and then the succubus. I don't know. It was a short novella read. It was really confusing, and I don't really understand even what I read, but it was steamy, and I really did enjoy it. But I don't know. The reason why I would have given it 4 stars if it wasn't so confusing with like the pronouns and I couldn't tell who was who. So that's why I gave it 3 stars, but it was a really interesting read. So if you want like an interesting monster romance, I definitely recommend this one. And then the next book I read was Bad Dream by Gianna Darling. And so this is a prequel to her like newest release, which is Dangerous Temptation. So Bad Dream is about kind of like the story behind why like our heroine and hero are together, or well, not together, but they have to be like ward and guardian. So Bad Dream, Bianca, our heroine, she has a really rough life. Her mom doesn't really care about her and her younger brother, and she kind of is just this like mom who kind of spends money on like perfume and like kind of the things for like looks and very like brand names and stuff. And so she's always had these rich boyfriends, and one of them is the hero, and he is not with her mom to like have an actual relationship with her, but he's trying to gather intel on her because of like a rival family or something. And so something happens where in the prequel that Bianca and her younger brother end up with the hero, and so I don't want to say anything else because it'll ruin it. But Dangerous Temptation is the next book I read this month, and I gave both of the prequel and this book 5 stars. They were so good. And Dangerous Temptation is a duet. And so our heroine Bianca, she is now the ward. Well, like her new like guardian is our hero Tiernan, and he's kind of bringing her into his like socialite elitist life, and she kind of has to follow by his rules, and she really hates him, and it's so good. It's like a hate to love age gap guardian ward romance, and it's so good, so angsty. I really loved it. I love the most about this, like the house, it's like this creepy, like Victorian, like, not Victorian, like, I guess, like, manor, like, gothic house, and the people that were there, like, his, friends and people who work for him were amazing, and I loved the side characters. The side characters were amazing. They were so loving, and I thought they were hilarious. I love Tiernan. He's very scarred because he's always felt like the black sheep from his family, and his father has really distanced him from the rest of his family, which is really sad, and that's one of the reasons why he has Bianca, because he's trying to get revenge on somebody, and it's just, it's so good, and I cannot wait for the second book to come out. I absolutely loved it. Okay, so the next book I read this month was Kiss the Sky by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is the first book in the Calloway Sisters series, and I think it's like the fourth book in like the Calloway Sister / Addicted series. And so this follows Connor and Rose, and this was absolutely amazing. I loved it so much. Connor is amazing. I love him so much. And so something happened where now they are being on a TV show, the Calloway sisters and like their like boyfriends, and so the producer, this guy named Scott, is really annoying and like trying to stir up drama between their family, and he's trying to really get under Rose's skin, and kind of like the show is putting him as like in this love triangle with Rose, Connor, and him, and the show really paints him in a good picture. And so Rose, obviously, if you know who Rose is, she like is obsessed with Connor, will never like not be with him. But Scott, like the main plot of the book was just like Scott trying to mess with them, especially in the public eye, and he does some really terrible things towards the end. But what I love the most about this book was the character development and all of the characters, and I love Rose and Connor and how they know each other so well. Like Connor knows Rose even better than she knows herself, and it was funny because Scott was trying to get to know Rose to like get on her good side for like the show, to like so that he could like kind of trick her and seduce her into like playing into the part and stuff. But Connor just knows Rose so well that like everything Scott did like backfired, and I thought that was so funny, and I just love all of these characters so much. They're all incredible, and I loved even more Hothouse Flower. I read Kiss the Sky and this book in like a day because they were all so amazing, and this is about Reich and Daisy, and so it's a fast forward a couple years later, and so now it's like the perfect time for them to be together, and Daisy's going through a lot because of like something that happened with a paparazzi person, and they like really scared her and tried to like get into her room and like take pictures of her and all this crazy stuff, and so now she has like night terrors for the past couple of years. I mean, for the past like year, Reich has been helping her and like sleeping with her in her room and trying to make her feel safe, and they've always felt like it's never the right time for them to be together because she's too young, and that it would destroy hit like Reich's relationship with Lo. I almost said Lauren. Lo, because Lo feels like a big brother to Daisy, and so that was kind of like the big drive of why they couldn't be together, because of Lo. They didn't really care about the age gap, but like Lo did, and so that's why they couldn't really be together. And like the things that happen in this book, like the reason why I think Reich is my favorite is because he's just so caring and kind and so overprotective and loving and supportive of Daisy, and I just love that so much. Like all of the men in these books, like in the Calloway Sisters series, they are all so like loving and supportive of their significant other, and it just makes me so happy, and I absolutely love it. This was incredible, but I did get really annoyed with Lo. Like, seriously, like, you're not her big brother. Like, stop. Like, he's done this for multiple times in the books. I think he just felt that obligation, but I found that really annoying. And, like, he annoyed me a little bit in this book. But there was this one scene in this book that like, this is one of my top reads ever, where they're at the lake and Rose gets, like, a leech on her. funniest thing I've ever read. She like tries to kill the leech and like burn it and all this funny, crazy stuff. Like this, I gobble these books up like I'm binging like a TV show. Like it's just, they're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. Like this solidified my love for the series. I love all of the characters. I laughed out loud in like fits of laughter so many times while reading this series, and I don't want it to end. But I still have like 5 more books in the series. I don't know, but I really want to read this, finish the series in November. Okay, so that is the end of my wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. I had a really good reading month, but I also felt like October felt like dark death. Like I was like, ugh. Even though it's usually like my favorite month, I had like some, shh, Goldie. She's just trying to say hi, guys. Say hi, Goldie. Hi. She's laying on the floor. She's an old gal. She like, oh, okay. Oh no, you're getting up. Okay, I gotta go, guys. But I love you all, and I am so thankful for y'all watching this. Leave down below, shush, I'm coming. Leave down below your favorites of this month, and I'll respond to your comments. Hope you have a great day wherever you are. Love you guys. Bye.